Hi friends, it's Pam with Silver and Sparkles, and we're going to make this mini journal today. It uses a book page as the base, and it has this lovely tuck pocket right there, and it just has a couple of little pages and then a pocket back here. And the base is made with one piece of book page, so I guess we could call it a one-page wonder if we wanted to, but it's got some layering and some cute things. So I'm using some of the background pages from my rosy pink paper kit just because I wanted to. I hadn't pulled it out in a while to play with. And then I'm also using my butterfly ephemera. So that's just a small 2-page kit that has some pretty butterflies. So they've been around a while, but I wanted to play with them. Oh, and I'm using some gorgeous washi tape. So this is a new washi tape that I got from IB. And this one is Fluttering Blooms. So pretty. And I thought it would just go great with my butterflies. So we'll play with this as well. I am an IB affiliate, and so in the description down below, I'll link my link for you and the coupon for 30% off. If you're in the market for some washi tape, they have stickers and other things too. So anyway, if you want to go take a look, no pressure, but you can. Okay, so let's get started. I just think this is darling. You could easily make this with scraps. Use any paper and any supplies that make you happy. So the book page I'm going to use is from this book. It is Time Life Encyclopedia of Gardening Perennials. I've been working my way slowly through this book. And the paper, let's see what, I always am like, what's the date on the book? Because I never can remember. 1972, so I was 2. But the paper, it's a little glossy, but it has some beautiful, beautiful floral images, but it's also very sturdy, and it's great as a base for projects. So the paper that we're going to use, and it really just came down to the size of this book page. I cut it, trimmed it once I got it out of the book to 8 inches by 10 1/4. Okay, and that's what we're going to use. So I will put the measurements and the scoring and all of that down below for you if you want to make one the same size as me. The basic construction you'll probably be able to use with other projects as you go. So we have a piece of paper that measures 8 inches by 10 1/4. On the 8-inch side, I cut mine at 4.5 inches. So now I have a piece that's 4.5 inches by 10 1/4. This is going to be the base. And then this piece measures, I believe it's 3.5 by 10 1/4. And we're actually going to trim it again and then cut it up when we decide the type of pages and pockets. The first trim we're going to make on this one, though, is at 4.5 because I definitely need this piece, and then this piece we'll have options with, so just set the larger piece aside. So we've got these 2 that we're going to use, and again, I'll put the measurements for you down below. So simple scoring. I'm going to use my scoreboard. And again, you want to be careful when you're scoring book page. Now, if you don't have a book page, use a digital, use cardstock, use scrapbook paper, whatever you want. It will work. All right, so on this 10 1/4 inch side, we are going to score at 4 3/8. And then we're going to score at 8 3/4. All right. So when you fold this carefully, this is going to be the flap, or the pocket, sorry. And then it folds over. And this will be the cover and the back. Easy peasy. Now, the piece that measures, what was it, 3.5 by 4.5, we are going to score on the 3.5-inch side at 1/2 inch, or you could do 3 inches. You just need a little piece you can fold over that's 1/2 inch. All right, so at 1/2 inch. And that is our scoring. Put that away so I don't lose it. All right. Now, because I'm using the book page, am going to do a little bit of layering because it will make this nice and sturdy. All right, but then you still have the lovely aesthetic of the book page. So I have a couple of my, like I said, my rosy pink papers that were printed out. So I decided I wanted to use them. And I just need 2 pieces. And I'm going to cut these to be 4 1/8 and 4 1/4. And I hadn't written that measurement down, so let me just write it down really quick. 4 1/8 by 4 1/4. We need 2 of them for layering. All right. Notes so that I can type that up for you guys. All right, so 2 pieces, 4 1/8 by 4 1/4. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut a strip that is 4 1/8, and then I'm going to do a 4 1/4, and then this one, because of the size of my paper, is too small, but I will use it inside. So I need another 4 1/8 by 4 1/4. And again, this is a great way if you have some larger scraps or something like that, that you're going to be able to use up some of those pieces. All right, one thing I did on mine, because when I start putting the butterflies down, this particular kit had the corners rounded. Now you can just chop them off so they're square if you'd rather, but I'm not sure which butterfly I'm going to use yet. But because each of these, whichever ones I choose to use, I will probably round the corners. It's pretty. They're all pretty. Or I think they are. I'm going to go ahead on my folio, and I'm only going to round the corner that's the cover and then the back cover. I'm not going to do the spine side. You can if you want to. And again, working with book page, mine is not too fragile, but you know, it's thin. So you just have to take your time. Now I am going to have 1 piece for the front and 1 piece for the back. So I need to, or I want to, round these corners so that it'll nestle in there nicely. See that? And then this one will be on the back. So I'm turning it over so I make sure I round the corners on the correct side and it's not upside down. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and ink and then glue these down because it just gives my whole little mini journal a little more structure. And it's going to be fun. So now I've got to decide. I wasn't really thinking of necessarily saying, oh, a one-page wonder, but I might call this a one-page wonder, you know, and you can use book page or any paper that is this size. So I think that'll be fun. You guys know I'm a little obsessed with those. Depending on how many pages, you know, and how you do the pages inside, you can definitely make this with 1 page with or 1 interior page out of the 1 page. If you start adding extra pages like I did, you're going to need more paper. So that's why I'm not sure. Well, you'll find out when you watch. When you see the title, did I decide to throw it in with the one-page wonders, or I just decide to say, let's make a mini journal using book page, right? Okay. just getting a little bit of ink. Inking is always optional. This is tea dye, distress ink. If you want to know what color I'm using. I will also have these paper kits that are available in my Etsy shop if you're interested in these particular papers, so you can take a look. But again, I think this would be a great one for, I didn't round the page edges. This would be a great one for using up some of your larger scraps and make it nice and junky. Doesn't even have to, that's what I love. It doesn't even have to coordinate. It can just be papers and ephemera and things that you like. All right, this is going to be one of our little pages. Okay. Now, let's get back to this is the front cover, and I am going to glue my layering papers on here, and then we can start the rest of the construction and then the decorating, which is super fun. All right, so at this size, that just fits in there very nicely. And I was thinking after I did this that the green wallpapers, if some of you have that would be really pretty with this butterfly ephemera. I've made quite a few projects with that combination. It's one of my favorites. But the pink is fun too. All right, now on the inside, before I glue this down, this is where I'm going to grab, here it is, one of these pieces that I cut off, and I'm going to decide which way I like it. Some of it will get covered up by this little pocket here, and that's okay. I have glue everywhere. I'm going to do it this way so I see a little more of that stamp. So again, I'm just going to ink the edges that are going to show. And you don't have to layer on this side at all. You can just leave it, the book page or whatever your paper is. I'm just layering it because I want to. All right. And I'm going to line it up with this. So I don't want to go over this score line, right? And then this part you won't even notice. So it'll be under the pocket. So now I'm going to close the pocket. I am only closing mine at the bottom. You can close yours at the bottom and the top if you want to. But it's really nice because my little tags that I made can nestle in here, and then you can see the ribbons sticking out the top. If I had closed it up, they wouldn't have fit in there. Then I had all that funness. So that was the reasoning behind that. Now, I did not layer this page on the original. I just then started doing my pockets. That, again, up to you, what you want to do. Now, I could have... You can attach your pages either way. On my prototype, I attached them to this panel. And all you do, we have this 1/2 inch, right? Is we're going to attach it by that. So we either put it this way and it's a page, or we put it this way and it's a page. And when you're opening it up, I don't think it's really that much of a difference. It's just where do you want it? I'm going to put it on this panel so that we can see what it looks like over here this time. I am going to, I think this one is just a smidge taller. I'm going to just do that. You don't have to, but cut those corners off and get it in here. So just glue on the hinge we made and stick it down. Don't go over that center score line. All right, now we have a page. And then let's go ahead and make the other page. And I made mine using the other offcut from where we did our layering paper. You can turn it either way. This one, I think I did this orientation. but you know, again, you can decide. I'm going to do this one. All right, that is up. Okay, so again, you can score this. I'm just going to fold it over at approximately 1/2 inch. And I'm going to cut those corners off. So again, you can't add like 50 pages, obviously, but you could add several. You know, I'm doing 2. It could definitely handle a few more. And the way we're doing it is we're just going to, again, glue this down by the hinge. Let me decide which way I want it. Ooh, I didn't think about that. You know, it won't. You've got to make sure you do it this way. Or this one has to be attached on this side. So we're going to just let it be upside down and then put a pocket or something on it. All right. I hope I didn't confuse you with flipping it around. It's just the image being upside down. So, again, glue on this hinge. And we're going to stick it down. And like I said, you could probably, without stressing the spine too much, you know, add another one if you wanted to, right? Cute, cute. And then once we start layering everything up and decorating, it's going to look fabulous. All right, now that I have this piece of white, let's talk about this pocket. And this is where this additional piece of book page comes in. And I am going to cut a piece for a pocket. You know, and we could make a 3rd page. Maybe we'll make a 3rd page. I'm trying to remember what I did with the book page. Oh, I think I backed a tag with it right there. Okay, so you have options. Let's make a 3rd book page though. It'll be fun. So this piece, we're going to, let's see. Bop, 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 bop. This panel is the one, I'm just going to double check my measurements, that is 4 1/4. So I'm going to cut this to be like one little smidge less than 4 1/4, and I want a 2-inch pocket. Oh, so I guess there's not going to be enough for another page. My spatial abilities, and I'm doing up with these 2 little pieces. So whatever you want to make with those, we certainly can do that. All right, it's going to need the corner rounded, and it's going to get installed as a pocket. I'm not going to glue it down yet. I'm going to do something right here with some washi tape. Let me go ahead and get it inked. If you want to use something else for this pocket, we could have made a 3rd page. But this is just 4 1/4 by 2. All right, so set it up there. Now, I'll close that for a second. Washi tape. I want to put a piece of washi tape over this just so that we just don't see that bright white there. So I'm going to choose one I didn't use before. This one looks like it's mostly florals, not the floral and the butterfly. It is pretty. And I'm just going to stick a piece down as a decoration. It's not really doing anything except, to my eye, making it look pretty. All right. Now I'm going to glue my pocket down. And I'm being a little careful because I do hope the other one fit just fine. One of my butterfly cards will slide in here. All right, and we're going to go through and do some more layering and some more decorating and use some more of this washi tape. And again, decorate yours however you want. Let me look at my butterfly options. This kit has 4 of these big butterflies. This is the one I used on the prototype. So I'm going to pick a different one. I'm going to use this blue. I like the contrast of the blue and the pink. And I am going to just go ahead and round all 4 corners. And I'm going to pop it on here after I ink it. I'll also show you how I did the ribbon on the cover. I don't usually punch through my covers for a ribbon, but I decided I wanted to, and I think it turned out cute. All right, here we go, darling. And because these are already collaged and everything, it just makes, it just comes together easily. So what I did was I attached a ribbon right to the cover. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to use my slot punch, and I'm going to try to center it. I didn't center the other one that great. You can measure and mark it if you want to. But you guys know me. I'm often going to just go for it. All right, let's use this little piece of ribbon. We'll go ahead and get this on here, if I can get it to go through. It's so funny whenever I'm doing like flip throughs of videos. I don't do that many flip throughs, but I like untie a ribbon and then need to thread it back through or do something. Oh my gosh, it never works. It's so funny. Okay, so now we have that. Let's go through with the pretty washi tape and pick a few. I haven't, let's stay kind of with the blue. I think I used this one before. Whoops, I just tore it before. But you can use it torn, or I can. It will be okay. I think I want a thicker one there. I'm going to use this on these page edges, which is what I did. The other one. Now the other one, the book page I chose, it worked out really convenient that it didn't have text on it. So it's a journaling page. These pages have text, so we could layer some type of you know, neutral paper on here if you want that to be a journaling spot. I haven't prepped any paper for the video, so I'll probably wait and do that later, but that would be a good idea. Now on this one, I was just using one of these index cards. I guess I could use the same thing on the others. Let's see, what is the height? This is 3 5/8. So let's chop this at just maybe a teeny smidge under 3 5/8. And I'm going to put it on here, and then we're going to put some washi tape there so that it isn't going to matter that it's not quite big enough. And I think it's going to look cute. And this is where, you know, for me anyway, using washi tape and stickers and things like that, strips of paper, right? It just can make a piece of paper that's perfect as far as wanting to use it, but maybe not quite the size you need. And I don't want to chop off my page, right? I want it to be this size. But here we go. Look at that. Never really think about it again. And I tore that a little off, but that's okay. You can add another little piece if you want to. Washi layers, great. Okay, so now I have those two. I'm gonna grab this one. It has a blue butterfly in it. Got lucky with that, didn't know. And I'm going to get it started and put a piece of this design on the edge of this page. So pretty. Oh gosh, that might be one of my favorites right there. Cute. All right. Now let's get one that is one of the chunkier ones and do this pocket and our top load pocket. And again, if you don't have washi tape, you could just cut some strips of paper. You know, some of my kits, I even will do like what I call the faux washi tape, because I like using little strips of paper, tape, whatever to decorate with. How cute. I love that. Okay, we're looking good. All right, and then a piece of this on this pocket. I'm gonna bring it down, I think. And then we'll use one of the butterflies or numbers or something on here as well. It just decorates so fast. Okay, I would like, hopefully, this to fit in this pocket. And if I have to trim it a little more narrow, I will. But let's hope it's going to fit, right? Guys, if you like the video and you're enjoying the content, I hope you will consider hitting that like button and subscribing. I'm going to glue this butterfly right here. Subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, and all the things. It really makes a difference, and it helps YouTube know what you guys like. All right, fun. Yes, very happy. Now, just to make something to go in here. So, let's see. For the one that I used the other paper, I just, so I used a piece of paper like this to get my two pieces to layer the front and the back, right? And then I used a piece on this pocket. I used a piece for the page. So really this is like a 2-page project. And then this piece is what's left. All right. And I'm just going to turn it into a tag and we'll decorate it. So I think I've just decided this is going to be a 2-page project, because you can use the book page or, you know, basically an 8.5 by 11 piece. And then one other piece for your other page and your layering and a tag, right? So fun. So I just used every bit of the piece that started out this size, which is exciting. All right, this one I'm just going to round the corners at the top. The other one had a really pretty flower on it. It just so happened the design of the paper had that pretty flower. I'm gonna set these aside. So what have I used? I haven't used this butterfly. Let's add a touch. This is the same butterfly that's in that image, you know, the big one. One thing, if you have this paper kit, you know, there's the fussy cut butterflies, but you can also cut the big ones out and use them if you want to. Just as a reminder, sometimes people are like, why didn't I think of that? So sometimes I like to point out little things like that. Not that it's hard to figure out, but let's also, I haven't used one of these. I think I'm going to grab one of the numbers and punch it out. I could have gone a touch smaller. Instead, I went a touch bigger and have a little white border that I'm going to ink up. Not quite sure why I went with the number 3. I just did to decide where I want to put it. Do I want it on one of the pages? Do I want it on this pocket? I think I'm going to just put it right there because I don't have anything right now for this page. Okay. Now I have this. Okay, and then the other fun thing that you can do is make easy tags with these. So I'm just folding it over a touch, and now we're going to have a little tag. I did choose to glue a piece of book page in the other one, so I'm going to do that on this one, just so that when they come together, it is not, you know, the white cardstock. Probably, if you want to ink these edges before you glue them down, you can. I didn't. It's okay. All right. So all I've done is kind of made a little sandwich, and I'm going to trim the book page to be the right height. So now from our piece of book page we started with, I'm down to just this little piece. All right, same thing. I'm going to, and you can, nothing's wanting to chomp because the glue's still kind of damp. You could make the top of your tag a different shape. It doesn't, you don't have to do it like that. Okay. This project really has made me happy. The last thing I think that I want to do, you can put a pocket here, you know, is we're going to top these with a little bit of ribbon because I do like seeing that stick out the front. And I even put a piece on this one. So let's hope. I have got to take time to make more seam binding ribbon. I'm very low. There's a piece. I don't know if it's the best matching right now, but it's gonna do. And then this one, I know you guys can't see because I turned around. There we go. This one looks great with this butterfly, I think. The green. And tie it on. So hopefully I will do that. Hopefully I will slow down and make myself some new ribbons. Put ribbon. The whole point is I want to do that and put ribbon samplers in my Etsy shop for you guys and have some different ones and restock for myself and have some fun new colors or, you know, variations on the colors, because every time you make them, they come out a little different depending on how much ink you lie down and, you know, all of the things and the ink that I choose too, right? All right, this one I'm going to put through the other way like this. And again, what a nice little alternative to a card. In one of these little pockets, you could put a letter, a gift card, all kinds of things. It's thin enough. It can go in a large journal. Look at that. How cute. And how I did the ribbons. They're not really sticking out the top, but there we go. Fluffy and fun. So we used book page, we used washi tape, we used seam binding, all the pretty things. I hope you like them. I think they're just darling, and I'm definitely having fun making this one. Okay, until next time, everybody, have a great day. Thank you so much for spending time with me.